good morning, and welcome to the Africa Weekly Talk. Today's subject, it's about an open letter written by a former presidential candidate of Ghana by the name of Papa Kwesi Nduom to the current president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. The headline of this letter is Ghana Beyond Aid. And this letter has been forwarded to me so many times by friends. And it wasn't on my agenda to talk about this today because I wanted to talk about something in regards to China and and in Africa and the discrimination issue and all that stuff, like I promised the other day. But I've received so many forwarded of this open letter. I decided, you know what, let me talk about it today, and I'm gonna summarize what he said in that open letter for those of you who have not seen the open letter, and then I'm going to rebut it later in the program. First of all, what he said was that Ghana Beyond Aid was a vision proposed by the current president some years ago, and for some reason that vision has stalled. So he has recommendations to light the fire. I'm paraphrasing what he said in that letter, to light the fire to kickstart that vision of Ghana Beyond Aid. Now, what are his recommendations? That is where the key disagreements are, and that is what I'm going to summarize to you right now. In his letter, Papa Kwesi Nduom first stated that Ghana has to ban the importation of rice and sugar. He has to also ban the importation of all chocolate products, fruits, juice, drinks. And two, he also stated in that same letter that every government contract going to be awarded in Ghana has to have 25% indigenous Ghanaian ownership. And then he also talks about the financial sector of Ghana has to be 100% indigenous Ghanaian owned. I mean, you talk about financial sectors, you talk about the insurance, the investment firms, and everything has to be 100% Ghanaian owned. Then he also talks about architectural or any foreign architectural or government contract that will go to projects in Ghana has to be 25% quota as well. Then he also mentions in that same letter also the Cocoa Board of Ghana's contracts in Ghana has to be 100% indigenous Ghanaian owned companies to have to do those contracts. Then he goes further also to say that all government functions in Ghana have to use locally made products in terms of like food and all that stuff. Okay, which is good. I agree on that one with him. Now, let me start go to the rebuttal of his proposal. First of all, I'm going to give you an insight of who Papa Kwesi Nduom is. He's a businessman in Ghana. I think he lived in America for a long time. He lived in America. Not that I think he lived in America for a long time because I know some of his children. And Papa Kwesi Nduom moved to Ghana some years back. He was a member of parliament in Ghana. And he also became, I think, a cabinet member in one of the governments in Ghana some years back. If I'm not mistaken, it might be Kufuor's government. So Papa Kwesi Nduom is ingrained in the Ghanaian system. He's run for president about 2 or 3 times in Ghana. So he's ingrained in the Ghanaian system. He's been part of the system. Okay, and he's also somebody I call an oligarch. I consider him to be an oligarch. Okay, he's an oligarch because he is ingrained in the political system, and he came out of the political system from the being as a member of parliament and built his businesses in Ghana. And he used these connections to become successful in his businesses in Ghana. So he's an oligarch. It's a typical oligarch. If you guys know what I mean by oligarchy. You know what I'm saying? He's part of the crony capitalist system in that country. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, now let's diverge straight into his proposals. His proposals is what we call in economics protectionism. Protectionism. Basically, what he's saying is that the current economic situation going on in Ghana is because of competition, because of foreign goods coming into the system that is basically hampering the growth of the local indigenous companies of Ghana. You can make an argument in some cases on some of these things, but it is not up to any government to pick sides in any economic situation in any country, where government is going to become the arbiter of winners and losers. That is the number one bad recipe. So Kwesi Nduom's recipe to Ghana's economic woes right now, number one, is a very bad recipe for Ghana. Ghana don't need to rubber stamp the oligarchy culture that has existed in that country since we moved from dictatorship government to the current electoral democracy that we have. That is the oligarchy system that have corrupted this country. And that is what have made most African countries, and Ghana included, in a very bad financial situation today because of that oligarchy system. One, most of these people coming from that system have this communist socialist ideology. And they believe that somehow every solution to our economic situation right now is going to be government imposing more regulations and rules on the economic climate in every country. That is what most of these African leaders and their cronies believe in. A lot of them are coming out of these socialist communist systems, and they still basically believe in that economic system, communism, socialism, so that government control to them is the solution to our problem. But let me paraphrase what Ronald Reagan, great former American president, in his 1981 inaugural speech, Reagan, unquote, in quote, stated that government is not the solution to our problem, but government is the problem to our solution. So if Kwesi Nduom want to come out with this protectionism ideas to ban importation of goods and services, to give 25% of every government contract in Ghana, to give 100% financial sector to the indigenous Ghanaian companies. I know a lot of you guys will say, oh, it's good because that means Ghanaians are going to control this. But let me tell you something real. Let's be real. Let's be real. We are in a very different economic system in the world right now. To build your economies, you need private foreign investments. And if you want to boost your local companies, the best thing is to give them good tax incentives, to encourage these local industries to compete with these foreign goods that are being imported into the country. It is not by creating quotas, creating an affirmative action system in Ghana. We are not talking about a country where we have past discrimination issues that you can justify by creating quotas, like America did for some minority-owned companies and all that stuff. I can understand, let's say, South Africa coming up with quotas in some areas. But when you're talking about Ghana, we don't have that issue, and we never had that issue of discrimination. These are all Ghanaians in Ghana. Okay? So if we are going to establish a good economic system, let's not come up with this quotas, affirmative action programs. Okay? That is an oligarch's dream. Okay? That is an oligarch's dream. That is what basically this man is proposing. Because, see, the oligarchs, they have the connections to the government. So let me give you a clear example. This man is proposing that all government contracts have to have 25% indigenous Ghanaian companies do these contracts. Now, let me ask you a question. Who do you think that 25% Ghanaian companies are going to be? Do you think it's going to be the ordinary Ghanaian who has worked hard to build his company, or is going to be the ones who are connected to the current government or the governments in power at that time? You ask yourself these questions. Okay? I'm not making this up. You yourself ask yourself these questions. Definitely, you know where these contracts are going to go to. They are going to go to their cronies and their family businesses. So this is a bad recipe. We don't need that nonsense. We don't need that. And even in his own open letter, he stated that the Ghanaian citizens have been complaining about the level of corruption and fraudulent systems in the government of Ghana. This is what he stated in his own open letter. He mentioned it. That is one of the reasons why this thing is not moving. The vision is not moving because of that. And now this same person, having stated that in the first paragraph or second paragraph of his open letter, proposes a crony capitalist system for oligarchs to take control of the economic system of the country. This is the same thing this man is proposing now. So basically, he's saying that corruption is the problem. But what is the corruption problem of corruption in Africa? The problem of corruption in Africa is because of oligarchs. It's not because of the open market system. It's because of the oligarchs that have been in our system since the 1990s, when most African countries moved from dictatorial government to democracy, electoral democracy governments. This is where our problem have been. The oligarchs have caused the economic woes that most African countries are going through today. And this is the recipe that Papa Kwesi Nduom is proposing to Ghana. It's a selfish recipe because he's an oligarch himself. So who do you think is going to benefit from what he's proposing? He's talking about 100% indigenous financial system owned by Ghanaians. The banks, the insurance, the private investment company owned by Ghanaians. Give me a break. We don't need that. It's a bad recipe. We need competition. Okay? We don't need any of that. We need competition in our system. If we want to help indigenous Ghanaian local companies, what we have to do is create tax incentives for them. So that if you're a local Ghanaian company, your tax burden is reduced so that you can compete with those imported goods that are coming in. And when you have competition in a great economic system, what does competition do? It benefits the citizens. It benefits the people. Because when you have a competitive prices, companies are going to drive the prices down for the citizens. So at the end of the day, it's the people who benefit from competition. You don't need monopoly. You want to monopolize your systems? You want to have monopoly, and then what is that going to create? It's going to create what? Back in the old days, what they call kalabuli and hoarding and artificial shortages of goods. And can you imagine how hard things are going to be with this kind of policies that he's proposing? We don't need that. Open the market. Let people import whatever they want to import. As a matter of fact, let me go further and say this. If you look at our business system in most African countries, but I'm talking about Ghana, so let me specifically state in Ghana. For you to open a business in Ghana, that is the most shameful thing most third world countries have in their systems. That's why we are not moving forward. That's why we are hindered by progress in any economic activities. For you to open a business in any African country, you have your money, you have established, done all your analysis and everything, and you are ready to open a business. Do you know the hurdles you have to go through to get the business license? Why should it be so? Why should it be so? Because you have to go and pay bribe in most cases to some big business government director or somewhere, sitting somewhere, just for him to give you a business license in any business you want to open in Africa. That is a shame. That is a shame. Come to America. You want to open a business, any business you want to open in America. You just follow the regulatory measures. And the minute you go through that process, you get your license and you start operating your business. All you have to do is follow the regulatory measures. The system is set for you to follow the measures that you have to go through to open that business. And when you are able to go through that measures without any problem, you get your business license. You don't have to go and pay bribe to nobody to open a business that is going to generate economic growth for the economy to help build your economy. In Africa, it's the other way around. You have to pay bribe to some corrupt government official for you to get a business license. And then we sit down and we complain why we can't create jobs, why we are unemployed, why we are still in poverty. And this is the system you live in. And then we have this oligarch, an oligarch who have benefited for the very corrupt oligarch system that have existed, coming to tell us now in his open letter to the president that you have to ban importation, grant 25% indigenous, every contract to indigenous people, so that at the end of the day, the government in power will give these contracts to his cronies and friends and families to continue the old crony capitalism that already is killing Africa, but more or less to rubber stamp it through legislation now in your countries. Let me give you a clear example with Ghana. I'm going to talk about Ghana again on this issue. I don't know if you guys know about the PDS scandal that happened some years ago in Ghana. Exactly what Kwesi Nduom is proposing, I'm going to give you an example of that PDS. PDS is pretty much when the Ghana government, with the help of the US government, trying to help revamp, build the electrical grid of Ghana, which is the electrical company of Ghana. The American government had proposed giving about $300 or $400 million loan to the government of Ghana to help them build that grid, to stop that electrical problems that they were going through. And in that program, the US government had given the green light to Ghana to have private investors also come in. So with that loan to help take over the electrical grid, some percentage will go to private investors and then help build the electrical grid of Ghana. Do you know what happened to that deal? That deal was started by, I think, the former president of Ghana, John Mahama. And then right before he left office, it was taken over by the current president. This current president and his cronies almost, read my lips, almost gave that electrical company of Ghana to his cronies without them putting a dollar into the electrical company of Ghana, and they were going to own about 50% of that company. That is what those people did. And finally, with the voices of Ghanaians all over and the leaked messages that came out later, they had to withdraw that. I mean, just imagine, these were the so-called rich people that were in Ghana. I'm not going to mention names, but they know themselves. The so-called rich in Ghana, they could not even take opportunity of an advantage that they could have owned part of the Ghana electrical grid, electrical company of Ghana. But because of their corrupt mindset, because of their fraudulent and corrupt ways that have enabled them to become rich today, they cannot get over that. So even when given opportunity to do something right and own a piece of that great investment, what did they do? They went back to their corrupt selves. They couldn't even raise funds to do that, but rather they were going to take part hold of the electrical company of Ghana for free, and eventually blew in their faces. Most of these guys should be in prison today. If you live in a country with a rule of law, a lot of these guys should be in prison, but they are walking around still flaunting because you live in a very corrupt system. So if Nana Kwesi Nduom is talking about indigenous, I'm sorry, that's a bad recipe. What he's doing is he's giving another green light to crony capitalism, fraudulent, corrupt government officials to basically pick winners and losers in your business economic systems. So who we going to give the 25% that he's talking about is going to go to their cronies, their friends and families. It's not going to go to the open market for the ordinary Ghanaian who is trying to build his company. Let's not fool ourselves. That's not what he's proposing. This is definitely going to go to their cronies. So it's a bad idea. bad idea, and the Ghanaians should stand up against. I mean, he's proposing it to the president of Ghana, and I don't know the president of Ghana if he's going to listen to this stupid nonsense, because at the end of the day, this is where corruption thrives in your system. It's been thriving in this system like that anyway. But what he's doing is basically you telling the people of Ghana, the president of Ghana, to go ahead and set up these quotas and talking about the financial sector. I mean, give me a break. This is a country that needs private foreign investments. Currently, you have all these Nigerian banks that are in Ghana that are helping build your economies. And are you saying that let's make it 100% indigenous and financial system indigenous and Ghanaian companies? Look, if the Ghanaian companies have the money, the finances to establish their companies, fine. Let them compete. Let them compete. We don't have to give any priority to any company just because you are from this country. I'm sorry. That is what is going to hurt the Ghanaians in the long run. It's a bad policy. And people should never, never, never support this idea. I get it. Some of you people will say that, oh, you know, it's good for us to own. No, I get all of that. But at the end of the day, if it's good for us to own something, then let's do it the right way. Let's compete. Because when you create competition, you get good products out of competition. If you don't create competition, you get bad products. Because when a system becomes monopolized, what happens is that they don't care about you people. But when they have competition, it makes them become better. So competition will make Ghanaian companies become better. But rather, the most important thing for the government of Ghana to do is that create a good tax incentives for the local businesses so that they can take advantage of these tax incentives and get rid of this, rigid roadblocks to establishing businesses and all of that stuff. Get rid of all that stuff, all that bureaucracies that is killing Africa. Let's get rid of all that stuff. And when we do that, and we open our market, because we need private foreign investment for our countries to do better. And he's giving a bad recipe to that. So I'm going to end up here by saying that let's not fall into that trap of protectionism. Protectionism is bad. Protectionism has never been good for any country. Even in America, they don't do protectionism. So let's stop that. And when it's Sunday, it's the Africa Weekly Talk. Have a good day and God bless you.